What's up, everybody? Really appreciate you all for tuning in. My name is Law Nation, and we're going to talk about the Cowboys interviewing Joe Whitt Jr. Here's the situation. As a disclaimer, and this is just me putting out the disclaimer. These type of interviews are always weird to me. And this is a minority interview to solidify the Rooney Rule. The disclaimer is, I'm not saying that the Cowboys have the intentions to just bring in people to solidify the Rooney Rule. Now, the Rooney Rule, for those who don't know, is a rule that you have to at least interview minority candidates for a head coaching position. They updated the rule last year in 2020 around, I want to say March-ish, what have you. And the new updated incentives also applies to like defensive coordinator positions, quarterback coaches positions, that you have to at least interview one minority. One, not three, not five. You got to solidify the Rooney Rule before you make your hire. You got to bring in at least one. Now, I'm not trying to sully or denigrate Joe Whitt Jr. Shout out to his pops, Witt Jr. Witt Sr. I meant to say. Linebacker coach over there at Auburn. He was one of those guys that was always around football and these sorts of things. Shout out to him. But what Joe Whitt Sr. did was he elevated his son to become the guy that he is. He got a communication degree in 2001. You shout out to him for getting a communications degree. And then from there, he went around and got involved with coaching and got his claim to fame in 2008. I'm just paraphrasing the man's resume for the Green Bay Packers. That year was odd because the previous year they fired a lot of defensive guys and they cleaned house. You know how the song go, clean up, everybody, everywhere, everybody do your share. This is what my daughter sing all the time. And they cleaned up house, and it just so happened that this guy was still there because he was the only one that survived. And that was the year that they made the transition over to Charles Woodson, and he was able to elevate Charles Woodson the following year to be an all-pro and make the Pro Bowls and things like that. Nevertheless, that's Charles Woodson, right? But he stayed with the team for many of years from there. And he's just been a solid guy as it relates to the secondary coach because they did some great things with some other guys in Green Bay land, with Tremont Williams, I believe, and some other guys that they went and drafted, Casey Hayward and stuff like that they help out, I guess, who came over to the Green Bay Packers. Now, my thing is, since that time frame, he's been in Atlanta as a defensive back guy, a coach there. And if we look at Atlanta, they are not known for their DBs. Let me repeat, they are not known for their DBs. Although they drafted A.J. Terrell, and we have yet to see any qualifying tape on him that solidified that he did a great job in these sorts of things. It's just been their defense, collectively speaking, been on the bottom end of a lot of things. All right, so getting back over to the Cowboys conversation. Will this be a situation where they only bringing the brother in to solidify the Rooney Rule? Is this a legitimate, a genuine interview? Is this okay, let me just see what we got out of this guy? I hate to go down that pathway. I do. But there are more qualified candidates than him. Now, I believe that everybody have a puncher's chance in life. One can argue that some people are working jobs that they don't belong in, right? Some people are at spots and positions that they should not have, right? Now, when we look at this situation, let's look at the continuity part of it. Mike McCarthy did say, hey, I didn't know the previous staff as much. I wish I were to have more time with said previous staff. He knew Mike Nolan, and he knows this guy, Joe Whitt Jr. So he knows Joe Whitt. So my thing is, maybe, just maybe, he's bringing in a familiar face, and he's trying to say, okay, Let's see what he can bring. Let's see if he can find out the warts, the problems, the issues with this defense. But I'm telling you, I don't think that this team, collectively speaking, need to go out there and grab a guy with the level of experiences that he have. I think that if they really want to focus in on something, maybe it'll be a George Edwards. But I do believe in the hearts of hearts, it have to be somebody quick and have to be somebody early and often over here to make sure that we're making the right move. We're making the right pace as it relates to this draft, the free agency tool out there. That's what I said the previous day. That this is the situation whereas you really don't want to wait too long. Let me repeat, you really don't want to wait too long. Installments happen now. Your philosophy, your scheme, your setup, the way you orchestrate your team happens now. Not down the line, but now. And this team, they need to figure this thing out one way or another. And those are the realities of it, Cowboy Nation. Now, as everybody knows that I'm not a big fan of the Rooney Rule, but if this is the angle that the organization as it relates to the NFL got to take, then to force these billionaires to hire minority, then I guess this is the way they got to go. Well, the incentives can be nice for those who participate in this. I'm talking about upwards of probably an extra third-round pick, I believe. I don't have it all in front of me. I will post a link down below of all of the information as it relates to the new Rooney Rule. But I truly believe that everybody get a fair shake and a fair chance at this. So he probably go into the interview and nail it, right? He probably go into the interview and just make this thing unbelievable. But we'll find out. And of course, with this ruling, it got to be a minority from the outside, right? Or it got to be a hire from the outside, not somebody that's already within the organization. So we'll see. We will see. We will comb through all of the defensive coordinators that will be available, and we will try to rank them. But at the end of the day, we will find out more and more as time progresses who is really out there and who really want to come over here to Dallas Cowboys land to coach this team up. Now, Marvin Lewis, he's a brother. Lovie Smith, he's a brother. I think that those guys would have been too much of a high key type of coach to bring in to just solidify the Rooney Rule. I think Marvin Lewis was going to say to himself, like, nah, dog, I already did it for the head coach, and you can't bring me down just to be a defensive coordinator now, you know. He might be looking at it like that. So I don't know. But let's look at this thing and say, okay, whoever the Dallas Cowboys bring, whether or not they're black, orange, yellow, green, purple, they got to get some work done. And I want them to get so much work done that at the end of the day, I don't give a damn about what you look like as it relates to your color. As long as you bleed that silver and blue, I'm with you. You know, that's what I'm thinking. So let's find a coach that loves coaching, that will fall in love with this team and will work through all of the time, burning all type of midnight oil, right? Right, guys, get what I'm saying? To coach this team up and bleed that silver and blue. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Post me your top 5 candidates down below. Salute. I'm out. Peace.
Outstanding. Impressive.
He ain't lying.